What's happening, everybody? I'm back. It's me, your resident supervillain, Mr. J. Washington, and I'm here with my review for Season 3, Episode 5 of Black Lightning on the CW. And if you have not seen this episode yet, please come on back, because you already know we doing spoilers around here. Allow me to apologize for not having the review for Episode 4 up. I had some issues. Again, I got this new camera, right? And if I can record too close, I get a lot of glitches in it. And it's hard to try to edit it. It's like everything gets out of sync. And then things got super duper busy where I was filming commercials and all this other stuff. So I apologize for that. That's on me. Also, I got the chance to visit the set once again of Black Lightning out in Atlanta, Georgia. Shouts out to Cinelinks.com, as well as CWTV's PR. You all are amazing. I got some dope interviews with the cast. If you have not checked out the channel yet, you will know that one of the first ones, the interview with Marvin Crondon Jones III, who plays Tobias Well, is already up on the channel. So I will be putting more out there. I got to edit the one I'm doing Crest Williams right now. Then I will have all the rest of the cast. I will have Nafisa Williams, China Ann McClain, Christine Adams, James Remar, and Jordan Calloway. So when you all see the Jordan Calloway, when you don't already know, like, yeah, they boys. Yeah, they boys. So, but let's get into this episode, man. It kicks off with Agent Odell trying to figure out who Blackbird is, which is, I'm surprised by episode 5 that we're now getting to this point where Odell feels like Blackbird's a nuisance. Later on, now, you know I'm not going to go bit by bit in the episode. Just not going to do that. Later on, he does use some ASA technology, which has facial, height, weight recognition software, and it gives him a list of potential suspects in Freeland, and one being Anissa, which he was like, very interesting. So he does later go to see Anissa, goes to her house, and Anissa's already out being Blackbird, trying to save Tavon, bring him back in from outside with the Purdy. But Anissa runs into Painkiller, and that happens. But nonetheless, while Odell is at her crib, Grace shapeshifts into her to help throw Odell off the track, because he's like, yo, I'm surprised I saw you here, because, you know, we're looking for the meta Blackbird, and, you know, you match the statistics and everything and the metrics. The best part was Gabby's behind a pistol in Anissa's, like, war room, ready to let off shots at Odell. By the way, I got a chance, along with a bunch of other journalists, to sit down, have dinner with, and talk to the great legendary Bill Duke. That in itself was an honor. It was about an hour-long discussion, and to talk about not just Black Lightning, but about acting and black actors in general, and me being an actor, and me having to hear words of wisdom for someone who's been in this business so long and has made an iconic footprint throughout it was amazing, and I'm grateful for that. We talked with him. Also, Painkiller is, every episode we're seeing more and more of him being devious. How the elements of Khalil are gone. How this is solely just Painkiller. We're also made sure to notice that he does have the spinal implant re-put into his back. You see the scar. And he is sparring with 2 ASA agents, both who seem a little bit cocky and whatnot. And Painkiller hits one with the 11-point exploding heart technique, and then hits him with a little bit of venom, and told dude to walk 5 steps. And dude was like, "You for real?" Like, and then he giggles it off. Here was what I wanted to see. After he does that, Odell comes in, stops the sparring, has the other agent who he was whooping on his ass too, Painkiller being that, has him take him to the infirmary immediately to administer the anti-venom. What I wanted to see, because he didn't carry him, he just supported him up while he walked. I would have loved to see those 5 steps happen then, and his ass dropped, because then he could have giggled about it some more. I feel like that was just a slight missed opportunity, but that's neither here nor there. It's nothing really important. Speaking of hearts exploding and just explosions in general, in the beginning, we get Lynn having a dream about, well, that's a little bit later. Lynn's having a dream about work. We didn't know it was a dream. She's working with a meta who has the ability to absorb kinetic energy. And she's got her shooting they got them shooting like a machine gun at her, and she's just absorbing it. And her power level is getting higher and higher. And Lynn tells her, like, yo, don't let this go till I tell you to let it go. So, like, Shorty taking all these rounds, like, she's just taking it. And then when Lynn like let it go, Shorty let it go and explodes. And the best part is it's such a cartoon element because you see just the shoes. I hollered. I don't think I was supposed to laugh that hard at that moment, but if I see you explode, right, and all that remains are your shoes and they somewhat smoking, and it's got the cartoon effect, all it would have needed was socks as well, and it'd have been perfect. But it was all a dream. And when she wakes up, she's in bed with Jefferson, and she goes back to popping her green light pills, where she is taking like Tic Tacs. Like Lynn's on a hype roll, and Lynn's a doctor. How does not Lynn know she's addicted? I understand that in her mind, in her perception, I get it. It gives her a level of focus. It's like an amped up Adderall. It opens her mind. It keeps her focused. It helps her think better. But you can become addicted to Adderall. Just like people can become addicted to pain pills. So it's like, how as a doctor, I understand you're getting the results you want, but how as a doctor, don't you even think that you're addicted? And yes, I know in the previous episode, we revealed that Odell had been subliminally giving Lynn the message to use green light. Get it. However, when you find yourself having to consistently take something, you're addicted to it. No matter how you're getting it. And no matter how your subconscious is being fed it, you're a doctor out of all things. You should know you're addicted. That happens. You find out that Tavon, the kid that was kidnapped in episode 4, again, my apologies for not having a review. Tavon was swatted on by the students because that's how he got told he was a meta. Now, if you don't know, swatting is a real thing. And I always credit the show for bringing in real life issues in front of the camera with the superhero world. Now, this is one thing that's prevalent in all of the Arrowverse shows, the CW comic book shows, shall I say, the superhero shows. But to use that, we haven't heard about swatting in a long time, because for a while that was a big thing. And if you don't know what that is when someone makes a false call to the police and says that you're either holding hostages, got a bunch of weapons, whatever the case at your crib, and the SWAT team comes down on your crib and they proceed to kick in your door, invade all privacy, everything, but then find out nothing's going on, and now you look like a dummy because you just had this happen, and also your whole world is shook, and you may end up having post-traumatic stress disorder. But to find it out, and his parents want him back, Tavon's parents want him back in Freeland, and so they're telling Jefferson, like, yo, we've been tested, we not metas, we good, and Jefferson's like, okay. So then he calls Blackbird while she's out, and he's like, yo, I need you to bring Tavon back in. They got the proof. He's not a meta. Should be good. And this is already telling him, like, yo, this is a bad idea. That bad idea is the fact of bringing him back in, because as I mentioned before, she ends up running into Painkiller, who later whoops her ass. Let's just call it for what it is. The fight between Painkiller and Blackbird was dope, but he's well more versed fighting wise than Blackbird is, so of course he'll have the advantage. And in the process of Tavon trying to help, Painkiller hits him with the venom, and ultimately Tavon dies while they're trying to transport him to the hospital in the tunnels. Which, let me go back to the set visit. To see a lot of those sets, to see the tunnels up close in person was dope. To see Anissa's house was great. I got a chance to work with the stunt team. We did a little stunt choreography. Now, if you don't know my background, if you're new to the channel, you're new to me, let me let you in. I already told you guys I'm a stand-up. If you don't know, I'm a stand-up comedian. I told you guys I'm an actor. I'm a host on the internet with my own channel, Collider, a lot of other things. My podcast, Matt Titan Podcast. I'm also a professional wrestler. Been a pro wrestler for 20 years. So choreography is not a difficult thing for me. And so everybody, a lot of the journalists, a lot of them just don't, do the physical thing of the choreography or whatever. And they were trying to catch it. Me, I caught it. They were like, how the hell did you catch that so quick? I'm like, yo, I'm a pro wrestler. Choreography and knowing moves in succession is not a difficult thing for me. It's just not. But it was fun. And, it was fun. Everyone's like, yo, you take this naturally. I was like, well, I think I found another career. Because from what I was told, there's no stunt class directly to go to. You just find stunt performers and they teach you how to do the choreography, and then you learn, and then eventually you have a career in it. Shouts out to my homie Shaq Gaspard, because he got a dope-ass career in stunt fighting. As well as John Morrison. You find also, after Tavon is killed by Painkiller, the word gets back that he was found murdered, and basically the ASA killed him. Which, it's a catch-22 in a sense, because as you got to look at it like this. Did the ASA kill Tavon, or did Black Lightning kill Tavon? And you're probably wondering, what do you mean by that, Jay? Well, Jefferson told Anissa to bring Tavon back into the perimeter with his family. Anissa stressed it was not a good idea. Kept stressing, not a good idea, right? Black Lightning was like, Jefferson was like, yo, you need to have this happen. Now, because of that pushing is the reason why Blackbird ran into Painkiller. Tavon tried to intercede and was murdered subsequently. Painkiller administered the fatal venom, yes, but had Jefferson not demanded that per se, Tavon would still be alive. So all that happens, and the word gets around to the students of Garfield, and they are upset about the ASA. And even one student, they approach all the students. They come outside the school and they approach the ASA guards in the front. And one student even, they do the whole see his face, look at his face, remember his face. This is a lot of times similar again to what has happened with unarmed black people who have been murdered by the police. Sandra Bland, a lot of them. There are so many other ones. Sandra Bland is more specifically one that stands out to me because they said she committed suicide in her own cell, but then showed the pictures, showed nothing suicide. There was another young black male. He was said he shot himself in the back of the head while he was in handcuffs. That made zero sense as well. But anyway, they did that, and so you have the police, who are the ASA officials, who are getting upset, and then at one point, one of the ASA officials hits the kid in the face with the butt of the gun. And so Jefferson comes out, yo, what are y'all doing? Yo, these are kids. Calm yourself down. And so it eventually gets to the point where Jefferson is arguing back and forth with the ASA officials to the point where they attack him. And now the police, the ASA officials, are whooping on Jefferson Pierce. And if someone records it, a la Rodney King. Because that ass whooping looked just like what Rodney King caught from those 4 cops back in the 90s. If you do not know, because I get some of y'all are probably younger, don't get it. Yo, research Rodney King's ass whooping. In those exact words, you're on YouTube. Once you're done with this video, go to Rodney King's ass whooping. You will see exactly what I'm talking about. After that happens, earlier we see Henderson arrest 2 Bits because he finds out he's stealing ASA food supplies and selling them out for market. And then he arrests Reverend Holt because he finds out Reverend Holt is helping to funnel out metas out of Freeland. And then he picks him up and takes him, drops him off. And they're like, yo, what the hell's going on? Come to find out, Henderson has been running the insurgents the whole time, the resistance against the ASA. He has people helping him. And he has 2 other people. And then, 2 Bits is like, yeah, but Reverend Holt is like, yo, you'll get us crucified. How are we going to do this? We're alone. He says, we're not alone. And out comes Blackbird. She's been a part of this as well the whole time. So now you have Jefferson versus the Markovians eventually, as well as Jennifer, who goes into another Markovian camp. You have the ASA versus Freeland. It is so many different battles that are about to happen throughout Freeland. Oh, I forgot to mention this. When Jefferson's getting his ass whooped, earlier in the show, Jennifer has she's feeling real drained. It's just like everything's in slow motion, like it's powering down. She's in the house with Jefferson, and he's talking. It's drawing out from what she hears. And then she's in school, and it's happening. And then she has a power surge. And in the computer lab, she shuts out all the computers. I bet Gamby ain't fixing all of those. And I don't think Freeland getting the funds. But Brandon gives her a jacket to cover up because she says she's cold. She doesn't see this. Well, when Jefferson's getting whooped, Jennifer sees it. Now, Black Lightning is close. Jefferson is this close from Black Lightning up, and his eyes sparkle and whatnot. He calms down. But Jennifer is getting upset. She sees her father getting whooped. She wants to go and help. And so she's about to charge up. Brandon sees her, grabs her, and then Brandon absorbs all of her energy. His eyes turn white, and he's good. Jennifer's like, how did you do that? They don't say anything. We know he's a meta, of course, but we don't know who exactly he is. So shall I say this? Most of you all might not know. I do. And I thought it was who it was at first. I was like, yo, but that's not the original origins or this person. But I know which meta that is. So I want to see if you all figure that out. But overall, I want to know what you thought of this episode in those comments below. And while you're here, man, make sure you like this video. click on the subscribe button, subscribe to the channel, and the notification bell so you know when I'm dropping new videos, alright? Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Mr. J Washington. That's MRJAY. You should know how to spell Washington. My Supervillain Squad, patreon.com/Mr. J Washington. A lot of more info and stuff and content that I don't put up on my Mad Titan podcast. If you listen to the recent episode, you found out that I'm about to start my own new wrestling podcast. I was once a member of the Wrestling Compadres. That is no more. If you want to know the exact reason why, please listen to the episode. It's in the first 5 minutes or so you can check that out, all right? Make sure you're doing that, and subscribe to the Mad Titan podcast. Everywhere you get your podcast, listen on. I get you caught up on everything that's happening in the Marvel and DC live action and cinematic universes. It is barbershop talk for nerds. So if you've been rocking with me with these reviews, you rock with me in Titans and everything else, you already know. Imagine a full hour sort of like that, but then it's even more hilarity in it. Like, yo, if you watch the reviews with me and Winston A. Marshall, just picture that with different random guests who know how to crack the jokes and have fun and everything. Yo, Mad Titan podcast is pretty damn dope. All right, I'll holler at y'all later. Take care. I'm out of here.